Hello there, and welcome to my new category of video. As you know, I'm a science fiction writer, and I've covered local train travel in Northern Ireland, and now I'm going to expand that from the local level to the mega level. And for example, in this video, we'll be covering train travel in parts of the United States of America and some proposals for improved systems. Again, not just on a local level like here, but on a mega level. So it's more of a science fiction take on things, but well, follow along and see if you agree, and leave your comments below if you want. Now, here, this is what remains basically of the United States train system, certainly in the eastern half of the country. Now, we've got some travel times listed there, but we'll concentrate in the northeast corner. Now, in Japan, it takes less than 2 hours to get a couple hundred miles. And in America, from Boston to New York, it takes over twice that. So, what can we do about that? Well, if you look from Boston in the north to DC in the south, you have a straight line, and that's where you need to have the United States bullet train. Now, people have also said Los Angeles to San Francisco. Yeah, well, sure, eventually. Yeah, they've been trying to do that for decades now. But upgrading the existing lines from Washington to Boston, I think, is a no-brainer. It just makes perfect sense. Now, it has been said that would lead to congestion. One thing I would like to add to the existing suggestions is, if we look, the train line there ends. What you could do is you could just add a mega bridge if you're just going to throw money at it, and then you expand the mega bridge basically from what, Connecticut or Rhode Island up there to down past there's a series of islands along there. Plum Island is one of them, so you can have shallows there. The shallows will exist, but you use the shallows obviously for the bridging points, and you can make a whole system connecting the Long Island Railroad with the shoreline there. And what that means is you've then got an extra capacity there to connect, rather than having everything go through this end of Long Island. So hopefully that should help take some traffic away from other systems. And again, you're not just increasing the speed by increasing this traffic here, you're widening the system, so it's not only faster, it's wider, and thus can take far more traffic. Now, at the south end, again, you need bridges and or tunnels to connect from Long Island over to Staten Island and New Jersey. Unfortunately, my graphics for that were lost due to hard drive failure, and I just have had too much other stuff in my time. Too much stuff to do and not enough time to do it. So I don't have those graphics available, but I will make another video if and when I get my hard drive recovered. So yes, so the trick is not just to increase speed, it is to also widen with parallel services to take existing traffic by other means. And again, it's doable. Maybe the yeah, massive bridge is a mega project, so it's a science fiction concept. But at the end of the day, such things do exist in other countries, and it could be made to exist if the money was thrown at it, if and when that's going to happen. But it's, well, okay, let me put it like this. If you want to travel from to Boston to DC or whatever, or to any of those other cities, you're going to have to go all the way from where you live in the city, and you're going to have to get to the airport, and then you're going to have to spend a couple hours going through security, and then you're going to have to pay to fly all the way down there, and my God. And how wasteful that is, because everyone's going to have to do that, and yet everyone's flying in a different plane, because you have one plane going, you starting in Boston, one plane's going to New York, one plane's going to Philly, and one plane's going to DC, and they're all separate, and they all have separate runways and separate engines and whatever. But if you have a train, there's only one engine, and it just, everyone goes together so much easier, and it takes about the same amount of time. Can cost a lot less, actually, to be honest. And I think maybe we should shut down some of these airports, or at least, if it was fair and free competition, governments are subsidizing the airports. If you're not using it for international travel, then really, what's the point? So yes, I think maybe there's too many airports to begin with, and I'm afraid, going back to Northern Ireland, we do have 3 airports here, but none of them has a train line. So once you land here, you can't go anywhere to take the bus, because the trains go right past the airport, and they do not stop. So you can't just jump on a train in Derry and go down to Dublin. I mean, in a perfect world, you could do that. You'd have to change at Lisburn, but, that's doable. Anyway, enough about Northern Ireland. We're back to New York City. So, yes. So, this is more of a video about Long Island, of all things, rather than Boston to DC. So, at the end of the day, the 2 suggestions: the bridge at this end, that's actually because this is turned sideways, as some sharp-eyed people may have noticed. Bridge on the east end, and then a tunnel in the west end, going from Long Island to New Jersey, and thus freeing up capacity then for the bullet train from Boston to DC. So please like, follow, and subscribe, and leave your comments below. Thank you. See you in the next video.